Stacy the Blackfeather Intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacy style. And today we are continuing on with my little mini series of sign language decks. And today we are talking about the characteristics of the Capricorn sign and what decks from my 300 plus tarot collection match that description and match those characteristics. So this is great for all of you Caps, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and also for those who have a Cap in their life that they love. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first one that I have chosen is the Tarot Decoratif by Ciro Marchetti. And let's talk a little bit about Caps for a second. Caps tend to be a bit on the bossy side in general. They are very clear-minded about what they think is right, what they think needs to be, and they move forward with that. They're natural-born builders. They're natural-born leaders. We're going to explore that in a couple of the other decks. But they are definitely bossy. You know, like a Cap tends to be a bit headstrong. You know, their mascot is the mountain goat, right? And the mountain goat literally climbs on an incline. You know, here, let me show it this way. Climbs on like a very steep incline and manages to make it to the top of the mountain. So they've got a lot of steadfastness. You know, they've got a lot of grit and grind. But, you know, I want to say maybe they've earned their bossiness, but sometimes, you know, there are room for other people's opinions, emotions, you know, other people's ideas on things. And so sometimes, you know, the Caps get a bit of a bad rap. So I went with this tarot deck because Ciro Marchetti typically depicts a lot of warrior energy. And I often feel that Capricorns approach life very much from that warrior energy, or as you can see, from a royalty energy. You know, they know things, they've been around the bend a lot, and they're not afraid to do the hard calls, to have the difficult conversations, to put things into practice that other people would shy away from. You know, they have a lot of innate wisdom and knowledge that they like to bring to the table. And they can be bossy about it. They can be bold, right? And so this deck has a lot of bold colors. This particular deck is in French. So you're seeing a lot of, you know, this is the Reine de Denier. This is the Queen of Pentacles here. Coupe is cups, 8 of cups. Bâton is wands. So, you know, I feel like sometimes they like to do things their own way. And so I really chose this deck as well, not only because it was Ciro Marchetti, very bold and in your face, and it's a very confident deck, but it also does things its own way, does things a little bit differently because it is in French. Cavalier de Denier. And this is the Knight of Pentacles. Again, the 7 of Bâton. Cavalier de Coupe. So it does its own thing, and it does it boldly. It does it without permission. No apologies from a Capricorn. If you ever get into an argument, a disagreement with a Capricorn, it's very challenging to not necessarily get an apology out of them, but it's very challenging to kind of prove yourself if you happen to have the upper hand or you absolutely are in the right about something. It can be a bit of a challenge for that Capricorn to, you know, secede to that, to get into a space of acceptance, simply because there is a little bit of that bossier energy. But I also want to say to you, sometimes we need the bossy energy. We need that individual who comes in and, you know, lays down the law, who says, you know, come on, guys, we got shit to do. Let's just get doing it. You know, and they don't stand on, you know, purification, right? They are like, let's just get this, let's just get this on the go. And they might not be the person that actually gets in there and does the work, but they're definitely going to get in there and, you know, kind of supervise the work in a lot of ways. So that's why I kind of chose this deck. It's very bold in your face. It's very powerful. You can't miss the message. I mean, it's like, so in your face. And you don't want to mess with any of these people. And a lot of times that's that Capricorn energy. Not to say that they don't have a heart, often their intentions are really good. They're recognizing that they're trying to build something or create something or help somebody. They just do it in a no holds barred kind of way. Sometimes they can be a bit pushy and be a bit bossy. So that is the Tarot Decoratif deck and book set by Cyril Marchetti. The second deck that I chose as part of that connection to Capricorn energy is the Slavic Legends Tarot. This is Taroteka. And this identifies the builder part of a Capricorn. And I love this because, it's shaped like a book. I think it's brilliant. It's got that beautiful magnetic component. It's soft and rose colored, rose petaled. Sorry, not rose colored, rose petaled. I mean, it's done really well. It's high quality. And I feel like if you have connected with any kind of Capricorn in your life, you will also notice that they like to do things kind of the right way. They might not do it the right way the first time, but they're definitely going to strive to get it done and to get it done well. Quality is important. The process is less important. It's the quality of the outcome that is important. And I feel like that's what this deck is all about. Rose petal feel, paper stock, high quality paper stock. I love that it's on this black. Capricorns can be mysterious as well. And so I feel like the black, the choice to make it a black background deck is important. Bordered, they definitely live within structure. Builders build structure. They need structure in order to build something and build it well. There's a little bit of that, sort of bossy energy here, or like I say, warrior energy. You're going to notice that in all of these decks, but they do it with style. And this particular card deck, I love the font here. It's a little bit of a different font. It's got a little bit of that old world feel. The use of color is really significant here. Loving this picture of the temperance. And also this is very nature-based. And the sign of Capricorn is an earth sign. And they are definitely very nature-based. They tend to be very grounded, sometimes too grounded, right? The perfect example of the emperor. Look at all of the roots. Like, he doesn't look like he's going anywhere. He's wearing this really heavy garb. He's got this huge wand. Like, he could get up and fight, and he'd be strong at it. But I mean, he's not really set up to do that. He's set up to observe, like, go fight for me. I'm telling you, I'm the boss. I'm telling you what needs to be done, and you're going to do it. Almost like ruling through fear or by fear, or embracing the power and allowing themselves to wield the power in ways that, maybe are suited to other people and maybe not so much. Maybe it can hurt people for the cause of the outcome. Again, not saying that Capricorns are bad, just saying that, with all characteristics in all signs, there is a light and a shadow component of it. And this deck, you can see there's so much growth. There's so much abundance. Here with the Three of Wands, the expansion, you've got the sunrise and the ship coming in. This definitely has a lot of that Capricorn energy. If you want to get something done, if you've got an idea and you just don't know how to make it work or how to bring it to life, a Capricorn is going to help you with that. I love this Four of Swords, the bear hibernating. Just feels beautiful, and he's protected. Nobody can get at him. He's protected and he can sleep. He feels really good about it. Nine of Wands energy, so here's this guy, ready to fight. He's tired. He's wounded, but he's still ready to go if you need him to go. And I feel like that's a Capricorn too. They can tend to be a dog with a bone. They don't let that bone go until that bone is dry, right? Or dust, bits of dust. A Capricorn is stable. A Capricorn is going to go all in for you. Capricorn beauty, the beauty of nature. Take a look at this one, the Ace of Coins. There's such beauty in the Capricorn tenacity. When you bring a Capricorn onto your team that shit's going to get done, and not everybody is going to be, the Capricorn's best friend and vice versa. But shit's going to get done, and it's going to get done well. So that is the Slavic Legends Tarot. Definitely, I want to say, like, even just the box itself, very earth energy, very powerful. That builder energy you can definitely feel, just looking at the cover of this card, that there's stuff going on. And there's also, the gold flecks in here as well, opulence and luxury. Capricorns like to build things that succeed. The third one that I've chosen of four, I went with another tarot deck, and this is the Soprafino della Rocca. This is a debris publication, and this is a pip deck. And for those of you who've been watching me for a while, I'm not a big fan of the pip decks, but this is one that has managed to kind of make its way into my collection. And it feels really good from a Capricorn perspective, because this is about bringing it back to the basics. This is foundation. And this deck really is foundational. Here we have the King of Wands, a very, I don't want to say he's a simple creature, but the image is simple. We've got one focal point, that's him. Wow, that wand is ginormous. The way it's positioned is a little suggestive, I'm going to say, just because I got a dirty mind and a dirty sense of humor. But he's very decked out. He wants to be seen. He wants people to notice him. He's got that charisma. And this particular card deck has the two different keywords on it. So here we have a maverick. The King of Wands is a maverick. And if you reverse the card, he is selfish, right? He's a maverick. He does things of his own volition, but he can also be selfish. Here you have the pip. You've got the 9, satisfaction versus dissatisfaction. Here we have the Emperor, authority versus cruelty. I like this deck for a Capricorn energy when you're talking about foundation, because Capricorns do foundation well. They lay foundation. They build foundation well. They understand that in order to build anything that is going to be lasting, you need to have a decent foundation for it. And so I feel like this is a deck that brings you back to the basics. Knight of Pentacles, self-disciplined and also stubborn. It's very simple and straightforward and to the point, but it's going to support any reading that you're in. Queen of Cups, nourishing versus vindictive. Are you being ruled by your emotions, and how are you allowing your emotions to sort of move you? The Hierophant, wisdom versus arrogance. So there are a lot of elements to the original Rider-Waite-Smith tarot system, which is foundational. It's giving you a little bit extra to kind of help you to understand its message, what it's trying to share with you. There's a simple focal point that you're looking at, so it's not too flowery, but it's designed enough to make it look interesting, to make you want to work for it. So a pip deck, again, I'm not a fan of a pip deck, because I believe that each card in the system of tarot that is Rider-Waite-Smith has its own story to tell. But in this particular deck, even though it's a pip deck, they've taken their time to bring a little bit of interest into what they're describing, and they've given us keywords: motivations, wishful thinking. So it's a great deck to embody that Capricorn energy, because it's helping you to establish a foundation. This is a deck that I work with, and I work with it in combination with other decks to get a full picture of the reading. But this always gives the solid foundation. And when I get, okay, judgment, consequences, or stereotyping, all right, I need to pull a clarifying card from the oracle variety to help me understand what area of my life I'm looking at with consequences, or what area of my life am I stereotyping myself. Here's 10 of Swords, escape or ruin. Here's a good one, the Tower card. Unexpected change, unexpected change. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like a palindrome. Wheel of Fortune, destiny versus powerlessness, feeling at the behest of the change. Here we have the Ace of Swords, logic or misinformation. King of Swords, visionary or authoritarian. Strength, courage versus weakness. Here's another Swords, 3 of Swords, sorrow and heartbreak. So it really serves to just kind of, get the point across, get you, I want to say, started. Get you started. And then from there, it's up to you what you want to do with it. So I thought that was a really great card deck to pull for that Capricornian energy. And then our fourth deck that I chose that is definitely connected to that Capricorn is the Shaman's Dream Oracle. This is Alberto Villoldo and Colette Barron Reed, illustrated by Jenna Della Grottaglia. This is a Hay House publication. It's been out for a while now. Really, super helpful, handy guidebook. But I chose this deck because, again, that Shaman's Dream Tarot, Capricorns are very much about earthiness and stability. And I feel like I just made a note for myself here. Can bring dreams into being. That's what I wrote down. So like thoughts becoming things. Capricorns can bring that in. This is a deck that I feel really brings that in. It blends the earthly world with the visionary world, with the intuitive world. So if you think about it, a shaman is very earthy and worthwhile, but what would a shaman's dreams be like? What does a shaman dream about? And I feel like it's like getting into the mind of a Capricorn. Capricorns, I want to say, by their very nature, are intuitively shamanistic, whether they use that languaging or not. They tend to be able to speak to the animals. They tend to be able to understand weather patterns and the earth and geology, the rocks and trees and all of that kind of stuff. And what we're looking at here is very much an earth-based deck that has a lot of that high energy spiritual essence to it. Many masks, the authentic self, wailing tree, reconciliations. Of course, I love all of the colors in this deck. I love that it is not bordered. It is a standard sized oracle, which means it's quite a bit bigger than a tarot deck, but not too big. Galactic Mushroom, the Divine Matrix. So this is a deck that really blends, I want to say, as above, so below. And Capricorn energy is very much about that. They receive the inspiration or they answer the call, and then they create in the physical what they need to create. Fortune's wheel, luck and right timing, deep quiet, meditation, and stillness. The imagery is really powerful. It's very not minimalistic, but they don't overdo the imagery. There's always one focal point. I think that's always really important, but there's enough detail in each of the cards to keep it interesting. And isn't that a Capricornian thing? They tend to be the focal point, but they provide enough interest. They're interesting enough and diverse enough that, with their family and friends, with the people that they work with, there's never a dull moment, right? Sometimes it can be difficult to work for a Capricorn or to be in partnership with a Capricorn. But again, I'm stereotyping here. I'm generalizing here. That's just kind of the nature of it. Again, we talked about, their leadership style, right? They're very much leaders. They can be bossy in their approach. And most of the time they do it from a loving place. Doesn't change the fact that, if you're on the receiving end of that bossiness, might not feel so good. The farther gate, bold step forward. Again, that bold energy. Each of these card images is very bold. You do not mistake what it's trying to say to you. And it hits you on different levels. It hits you on the subconscious level as well as the conscious level. And I think that's really, really cool, especially because when you're dealing with shamanistic energy, that's exactly what it is. As above, so below. So yeah, that is our Shaman's Dream Oracle. And that is the last of the Capricorn decks. So thank you so much, guys, for watching the video to the end. I really enjoyed sharing this information with you. Like I said, to my caps and to those who have caps in their lives that they love, these are the decks that I feel really help you to maybe understand them a little bit more, understand yourself a little bit more. Would love to hear in the comments what you thought about my choices, my selections. Let's keep the conversation going. Also really excited to announce to you guys that after 11 years of following the YouTube algorithm and failing miserably at it, I am finally at a place where I can offer to you guys some memberships, an opportunity to keep the conversation going and go a little deeper. And if you want to become one of my fabulous phoenixes, click on that join button to check out the 3 different tiers that I offer. Can't wait to connect with you guys in that way, or until we meet each other again for another Divinely Decked, another Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life. We will see you on the flip side, and transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture Divining the VIP Life.